fun pandemic? Cool, yeah. Okay, take a minute to take me in. I'm a little weird. Let it settle, yeah. I have a vision board. Okay, got a laugh right up top. Cool. For those of you who don't know, vision board is where you cut out pictures from magazines of things that you want to manifest into the universe, right? You cut them out of the magazines, you put them on a board, you hang the board on the wall, and then those things are supposed to come to you, right? Well, my dad wasn't really around a lot to teach me how to do traditional quote-unquote dad stuff, like change a tire, use a power tool, stuff like that. So on my vision board, I just cut out pictures of dads showing their sons how to do stuff, you know? Which sounds really sad, I know. But you know what's even more sad is that I don't know how to hang the vision board on my wall. Just kind of sitting in the middle of my living room. It's more of a vision floorboard at this point. I asked my dad what was on his vision board, and he was like, a son who doesn't have a vision board. I want to hang it in the basement, but I need you to move out. I had a weird dad growing up. When I was in high school, he would wake me and my siblings up for school, and he would wear a white undershirt from the waist up, and then absolutely nothing from the waist down. And he would pull his shirt over his crotch like some sort of makeshift dong shield. And then he would Donald Duck walk down the hallway at 6 a.m. looking like a gravedigger who lost his lantern. And pants and underwear somehow. And I'm like, Dad, you better keep that evil blind shade nice and tight, because if that thing comes rippling up, you're gonna stunt my sexuality by about 15 years. And this train's already running behind schedule as is. Also in high school, my sister's boyfriend wanted to ask her to prom. He wanted my help, so this was the plan. I was gonna let him in our house in the middle of the night. He was gonna lay out roses and a note that said prom. And she woke up in the middle of the night, thought someone was breaking in, and started screaming. So then David started screaming and tried to run down the hallway, down the stairs, out of the house, right? Crucial piece of info I forgot to tell David was that my 92-year-old grandmother was staying with us at the time. And she couldn't walk very well, and she'd have to use the bathroom on the first floor several times in the night, so she'd have to crawl up and down the stairs. Yeah. So as David was trying to run down the stairs, my grandma was Resident Evil crawling up the stairs. And David's nightmare just got a heck of a lot worse, right? Because he thought he saw a demon. So he stiff arms my sweet Gam Gam. He hurdles over her, he makes for the door, but who's that blocking the door? My dad, up, 6 a.m. graveyard shift, right? He's got a lantern in one hand and a dong shield in the other. And a full set of graveyard keys clipped to his butt cheek back here. He's like, only one way out, son. I just need to free up one of these hands first. And David's like, here, sir, I'll hold your lantern. My dad's like, no need. Dong showed up. That was 15 years ago to this very day. And legend has it that David is still a virgin. Where was I during all of this? Locked in my room. I never left my room past sundown because my house was haunted by my living grandmother. Scary times. Went to the doctor recently. Whoa! Is your doctor a clown? What's going on? Alright, you're gonna point out how I didn't write a transition between my jokes? That's cool. What are you, my dad? Get him out of here! Unbelievable. I'm 4 minutes into my set. Where do I go from here? I didn't know we had a secret shopper in the audience tonight. Unbelievable. you're the doctor, sir, and doctors are always asking you stupid questions, you know? Like my doctor was like, do you use any drugs? And I was like, yeah, I smoke pot pretty regularly. And he was like, okay, you do know that marijuana is still recreationally illegal in the state of Ohio. And I said, I do know that. You want to know what else is recreationally illegal in the state of Ohio? Violating patient-doctor confidentiality agreements. So maybe you ought to spend a little less time running that judgy yap-yap of yours and a little more time getting my medical marijuana paperwork in motion. Let's go! I get anxiety when I have to talk to narcs. Put it on the paper. The joke's called Dr. Dank. And yeah, I was a little too high to write a transition into it. I'm so sorry. I smoke a lot of pot and can't remember my dreams because I smoke so much. And when I say I can't remember my dreams, I don't mean like when I'm sleeping. I mean like I can't remember what I wanted to do before comedy. You know what I mean? Like I do comedy to pay the bills, but serving tables has always been my real passion in life. And I used to work in a Mexican restaurant, and I ruined a family's graduation dinner one night. This is how I did it. I went up to the table, and I was like, hi folks, my name's Andrew. I'll be helping you out tonight. And the dad was like, hi Andrew, our daughter graduated from college today with an English degree. I did not laugh in their face. I said, oh, that is fantastic. You know, I actually happen to have a master's degree in English literature. Can I get you folks started with some chips and salsa? How about an application for the young lady? And they were visibly upset, as you can imagine. And they asked to speak with a manager, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, but we only do open interviews on Tuesdays from 2 to 4. You're gonna have to come back. But they insisted, and I was like, you know what? This is actually perfect, because my manager happens to have a PhD in interpersonal communications. So I'm gonna send Dr. Guacamole over, and he's gonna sort this tableside mix-up. My bev nap went onto the ground, and I need that so that there isn't a ring on this chair. It doesn't have my set list on it. I know what joke I'm doing next. It's a good-looking bev nap. I hate politics. I hate politicians. I hate all politicians on both sides of the aisle. I'm a very progressive guy, but I also think that Nancy Pelosi looks like she pays poor families to let her hit their children. And on the other side, Mitch McConnell's face is melting off. How is that? That guy looks like a melted open-faced sand Mitch. He's the only person you can take acid, stare at his face, and it will actually stop melting. Think about that. It's crazy. Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop. It's too divisive. I don't want to be divisive. Let's keep it loose. Let's talk about something that everybody can relate to. Snacks. Everybody loves snacks, right? Yeah, snacks are gonna bring this country together. And I think we can all agree in the world of snacks that Graham is the worst kind of cracker, right? Graham's the worst kind of cracker. And I actually am still talking about politics. I'm talking about South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. He's the worst kind of cracker. It's terrible. fight with my mom a lot about politics. And she was telling me the other day, she's like, you can find anything online. You can find anything online. And I was like, oh, I know that you can find anything online. You think that COVID isn't real. You think that masks are useless. But you just bought a full-body beekeeper suit on Amazon to protect you from cicadas. So I know that you can find anything online, right? You guys have the cicadas, obviously, in Columbia. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, cicadas come around every several years. Big bugs, they come in swarms. I went to the mechanic to get my oil changed when there was a big swarm of them. And as I'm walking inside, there was a bunch of them flying around, and I was like, ew, bugs! And I didn't realize it, but the mechanic was watching me the whole time. And I got really embarrassed. And he goes, don't worry, buddy. They can't hurt you. I was like, great. My two biggest fears just came to life at the same time. Bugs and a mechanic knowing that I will never be a real man. He took one look at me, looked at his coworker, and he's like, we're gonna make $5,000 today. And he did. I went in for an oil change and left with a new transmission. And a new dad. He adopted me. Yeah, sure, keep it going for Leonard. Why not? Keep it going for Len. I grew up in Cincinnati. Happening right now? Is a civil war about to break out between Columbus and Cincinnati? We're neighbors. Calm down. They recently changed my high school mascot. We were the Anderson Redskins, and we are now the Anderson football team. And regardless of how you feel about that issue, I can tell you one thing, it really made me mad. Because how am I supposed to remember the answers to my bank security login questions? They're like, what was your high school mascot? And I was like, it was a different time back then. They deactivated my account. Cancel culture is out of control. Out of control. I have I don't know if you noticed, I got some bad tattoos, or good, depending on what kind of drugs you're on. But people say, like, if you could go into the past and give your younger self, like say your 17-year-old self, some advice, pitfalls to avoid in the future. You ever think about that, what you would tell yourself, what you've learned, right?
Bitcoin.
What's that?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin? You just go back and be like, Bitcoin! Shit, what the hell is that lady talking about? What is Bitcoin?
Get married sooner.
All right, I should have shut that down. Audience participation. This is a one-way street up here. That's my fault. That is my fault. But if I was going back in time, I wouldn't tell my 17-year-old self anything. I would just show me all of my bad tattoos and watch a 17-year-old's brain explode. Because he'd be so conflicted, right? Because he wants tattoos, but he doesn't want these tattoos. You know? So he looks, he's like, okay, yeah, I did want tattoos, but what is going on? Is that seahorses? Doing karaoke? That's exactly what that is, young man. Good eye. Bright young fella. He's like, okay, well, like, there's gotta be like a crazy story, right? You were like blackout drunk, 21 years old, lose a bet, right? Something wild happened, right? Nope. 34 years old. Sober for 2 years, actually. I just love seahorses. Buckle in, buddy. It's gonna be a weird life. I could be an accountant right now. Well, that shut it down fast. That's good. What you want to do? my ex-girlfriend, sorry this doesn't have a transition for you. No, you're awesome. My ex-girlfriend was training to be an EMT, and there were all these beefy firefighters. I don't know why I said beef. There were all these regular firefighters in her class. And she kept going on about this one guy, Brian, like, oh, Brian's so great, he saved a family from a burning fire. Big whoop. I woke up before noon yesterday. Yeah, paid all of my water bill. And then I rewatched Game of Thrones, season 4. That was a little too much for that one. I bet Brian doesn't even know how to log on to his parents' HBO Max account. He's such an idiot. I had my real first aha moment in my relationship. You guys had this? Your aha moment? Walked in on my girlfriend making out with Brian, and I was like, aha! Gotcha. But I got a supportive mom. It's hard to have a supportive mom and be a successful comedian, because you don't have a lot of odds to go up against. Right? Like, I told my mom I wanted to do comedy, and she was like, oh, you'll be so funny. You want me to buy you some pens? No, Mom, I'm a server. I'm raining in pens, dog. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be a stripper. What if I did that? That's what she said. She was like, do you want me to buy you a sailor's outfit? And I was like, no, Mom, I already have a sailor's outfit. You're embarrassing me in front of my girlfriend and Brian, okay? When we broke up, I was in my 20s. I had to temporarily move back in with my parents. Things are different in your 20s than your teens. You can be a little bit more honest, right? Like my mom was like, Andrew, you've been smoking in the house. And I was like, yeah, pot in the basement. She was like, you shouldn't do that, it's dangerous. I was like, really, Mom? It's dangerous for me and Brian to smoke a joint and watch Game of Thrones during boys' night? Or is it more dangerous for you to slam a couple bottles of Cabernet, watch 12 hours of The Great British Bake Off, and then fall asleep with the oven on? She's like, well, Brian can put out the fire. And I was like, dang it, that's a really good point. That's actually a really good point. Moms are always right, you know? Moms are always right. So I will be selling koozies after the show. They say, call your mother. Yeah. They pay what you want. I got a card swiper. Pretty cool. Yeah, one day I was like smoking weed and I was like high and I was like, oh, I need to get some merch. And then I was like, oh, I need to call my mom. And then I was like, oh, koozies. So you can buy them for your deadbeat kids, or if you're the good sibling, give it to your brother. It's also great because when your kids, if you can have these at college, getting drunk, and then all of a sudden, remember, gotta call Mom. Pretty good merch pitch. I don't even drink. So.
I get one because.
I wish I could take a koozie away from you. I'm just kidding. I will give you a koozie after the show. You guys are the best audience ever. I bombed so hard last night I could hear my own armpit sweat. I got home and had to mark myself safe on Facebook. It was a terrible night. A woman screamed out, poor little thing. Poor little thing. Do you know how confusing it is to be heckled with sympathy? I told my mom she can't come to my shows anymore. I'll do two more and then get on out here. Kids, when parents get divorced, children oftentimes blame themselves. for their parents getting divorced, and that's really sad because it's true. It's their fault. My parents have been married for 42 years. What's their secret? A well-behaved young man named Andrew. That's what. I sat in my room and worked quietly on my vision board. Saved a marriage. You guys are so fun. Hey, before I get out of here, I'm going to round of applause for your wait staff tonight, working hard. And I'm so excited to get Ben up here. He has taken me to these last 4 shows this week, and he's been wonderful, killing every show, and couldn't be kinder, so I can't wait to watch him. And we're going to do this, right? So, I'll leave you with this. When I was 15, my ex-girlfriend, my first girlfriend ever, had a crush on my best friend, right? He was a football player, popular kid, and one day, he's workshopping his brand new abs at the pool. And my first girlfriend, she's like, oh my gosh, are those abs? Can I punch them? He's like, sure, punch him. So she punches him. She's like, ow, my wrist, your abs are so hard and new. And I was like, I'm not going out like that. So I step up to the plate, and I go, hey girl, why don't you give these hush puppies a wackerdoodle? Pull up my shirt to reveal some 15-year-old skinny flab, newly developed. And she winds up, and with a force that I have never felt, punches me so hard, and I farted. I don't even know a punchline. That was just a memory that came to me. I farted at the top of my butt lungs, you guys, and that's been my time. Thank you so much. You are wonderful.